Imagine for a moment a young child sitting alone in a classroom. Their hand raised, waiting to be noticed. The teacher's eyes look past them, and no one in the room seems to care. They shrink back into their seat, silent and unseen. That quiet moment shapes something deep inside, something that can last a lifetime. Today, we are going to explore the psychology of the ignored child, how being overlooked affects the heart, shapes the mind, and molds the way a person experiences the world. From the earliest days of life, children crave attention. Not the flashy applause of a stage, but the soft, warm glow of being seen, understood, and valued. A baby cries not just because they are uncomfortable, but because they want a response. A toddler insists on showing you a drawing not because it's perfect, but because it matters to them that you care. When attention is consistent, children learn that they matter. They learn that people respond to them. They learn that their feelings and thoughts are important. But what happens when that attention doesn't come? What happens when a child's voice goes unheard? Their needs go unmet, and their presence goes unnoticed? To understand this, we must first understand attention itself. Human beings are social creatures. Our brains are wired to connect, to recognize faces, to respond to voices, to mirror emotions. When a child receives warm attention, a smile, a kind word, a hug, their brain releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. These chemicals don't just make the child feel happy in the moment, they build trust and security that lasts. But when a child is ignored, when caregivers are emotionally unavailable or distracted, something very different happens inside their developing brain. Instead of feeling safe and valued, a child may begin to feel invisible. They may think, no one cares about what I feel, or if I don't matter. Over time, these subtle thoughts can grow into deeper beliefs about themselves and the world around them. Psychology shows us that ignored children often struggle with core issues of identity and self-worth. They may grow up feeling like they are not worthy of love. They may believe they must earn attention by performing, by being perfect, or by being someone they are not. This pattern can begin in early childhood, when emotional needs are most powerful. A child who is ignored may learn to suppress their own emotions. They might stop asking for help. They might hide their feelings because they expect silence in return. Outwardly, they may appear calm, but inside there may be a heavy loneliness, not just the absence of company, but the absence of connection. Ignored children often develop what psychologists call a hypervigilant mind. This means they watch others closely, trying to read cues, looking for signs of approval or rejection. They become experts at noticing what others want because they've learned that this is how they may finally get attention. In friendships, these children might adapt themselves to fit in, constantly adjusting to what they think others want from them. This might look like kindness and flexibility on the outside, but on the inside it can feel like losing a sense of who they truly are. Some ignored children go a different route. Instead of becoming quiet and watchful, they become loud and demanding. They act out. They seek attention in ways that disrupt others. These behaviors are not random, they are a child's way of saying, "Notice me, please." Even negative attention is attention, and to a lonely child, it feels better than invisibility. To the outside world, this might look like bad behavior, but deep down it is an expression of unmet emotional needs. The effects of being ignored go beyond emotions. They reach into how a person relates to others, how they handle stress, and even how they manage thoughts about themselves. Because early relationships teach us how relationships work. A child who was overlooked may grow up expecting others to overlook them. They may struggle to trust that people will care for them genuinely. They may become overly dependent on validation, feeling good only when others praise them, or they may withdraw, protecting themselves from potential hurt by remaining distant. Let's be clear, being ignored does not doom a child to a life of struggle. Human beings are resilient, and the brain retains the ability to heal. But understanding the psychological impact of being ignored helps us recognize patterns that might otherwise remain hidden. It helps parents, teachers, and caregivers understand that attention is not a luxury, it is a psychological necessity. Even simple, everyday moments matter. A parent who stops scrolling through their phone to make eye contact with their child sends a powerful message, "You matter to me." A teacher who acknowledges a quiet student's answer gives that child a mirror in which they see their own value. A friend who listens without judgment tells a lonely heart that it is worthy of care. Many adults carry echoes of being ignored from their childhood. They might find themselves drawn to relationships where they are again overlooked, repeating familiar patterns. or they might avoid closeness altogether, afraid of being hurt again. Some might push to be the center of attention, believing that only visibility equals worth. Understanding these patterns is the first step toward healing. If you find yourself reflecting on your own childhood experiences while listening to this, know that you are not alone. Many people carry similar stories. The good news is that awareness creates choice. When we understand how our early experiences shaped us, we can begin to rewrite our internal stories. We can learn to give ourselves the attention we needed back then by acknowledging our feelings, by validating our own experiences, and by forming healthy connections with others who see us wholly. For caregivers today, the message is simple but profound: be present. Presence means more than being physically close. It means emotionally available. It means listening with intention, responding with warmth, and valuing the child's inner world. Presence teaches a child that their feelings are important, their voice matters, and their existence is valued. If you are a parent, teacher, or guardian listening right now, take a moment and imagine the impact of truly seeing the children in your life. Notice how they react when you give them your full attention. Notice how their eyes light up when you acknowledge their thoughts and feelings. These small moments of presence build a foundation of psychological safety that will last a lifetime. If you are someone who grew up feeling ignored, remember this: your worth was never defined by the attention you received. Your feelings were valid, even if no one noticed them at the time. Healing begins with telling yourself the compassion you missed: I matter. My feelings matter. My voice matters. In the end, the psychology of the ignored child reminds us of a fundamental truth about human beings: we all need to be seen, heard, and understood. Attention is not just about being noticed, it is about being valued. So whether you are caring for a child today, reflecting on your own past, or simply listening to understand, remember this: attention is love in action. And every child deserves to feel loved, truly and deeply. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. And remember, sometimes the greatest act of kindness is simply to see another human being.